Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the farm. If you thought all the excitement for the year was already over, I hate to disappoint you, but we're just getting warmed up. We've got another awesome green and yellow toy to go pick up. The package is not quite complete. One thing we're waiting on is not here yet, but we're going to go ahead and bring part of it home. And I'm certain that 99% of you are going to love this thing we're bringing home. Well, unless you're just a John Deere hater. The boss is going to taxi me closer to town so I can get behind the wheel. And while we do that, make sure you all hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Every additional time that like button is hit, it helps my videos more and more. And definitely leave me some feedback on the video. What you liked, what you didn't like. Let me know what you think of the equipment. Let's get to work. We're here at the Uphoff's farm, and like our 9620R, they were also gracious enough to weatherproof our new combine. And they happen to have a brand new combine here as well. It's a pretty sharp rig. Now, I don't remember one instance in my lifetime where we've ever waxed a combine. But combines have gotten so expensive anymore that it seems like it's a good investment. And besides, if someone can make a combine look that good, you might as well use their services. Just gonna tease you guys for a little bit, fire this thing up, take it home. This combine is like a spaceship compared to our S670. A lot more ergonomics. All right, we're leaving the sanctity of their shop. Their 780 has a folding auger. I think my dad could use that. By no means am I trying to brag when I say this, but I do want you guys to realize how expensive farm equipment's gotten in the last few years. Our combine and Uphoff's combine parked in that shed together were worth easily more than $1 million. It's actually rather painful to think about. Not to mention that this thing's going to depreciate $60,000 in the first year. But hey, we do get a new warranty. Now that I mentioned the price tag, we might as well fold the ladder in. Woo! It's clean. The somewhat hysterical part about Uphoff's having a folding auger on their combine is that my dad had an interesting run-in with a FedEx semi on Route 45, which is a super highway. He was southbound, the truck was northbound. Right about the time when he met the semi, he turned right into an entrance, kind of like that right there, and he forgot to account for the fact that combines are rear wheel steered, and they have a long auger sticking out the back. So the back end actually drives itself around out farther to traffic, and let's just say he clipped the top of the semi. Now, as you can see in the mirror and in the camera, we don't have a folding auger. I told Dad that if he hits another FedEx truck, he better replace the broken auger with a folding auger so we don't have to go through that again. Home sweet home. This combine will probably spend a good amount of years on our farm. $500,000 combine, and it can only pick up one radio station. What kind of BS is that? Now that we have that new combine home, we need to calibrate all of our new header equipment to the combines. So we're going right now to get one of our drapers out of the barn. We're going to hook that up, and the corn head we have at home. Those two are what are going to go on that new 7 Series combine. The corn head that's still in town at the John Deere dealership is not the one we're going to be using on this combine. Whoa! Pull up about an inch. Whoa! I would say that's quite a bit of draper for that pickup truck. And the steering needs aligned. That explains the radio conundrum. Antenna's down. Now we should get a lot of stations. I know that it's probably killing some of you that I've been in and around this combine since the beginning of the video, and I haven't shown it off yet. So let's take a look. Now it's time for our main event, unveiling the new combine. A lot of you have made very good guesses as to what model it is, but very few of you have had it right. We got an S780 John Deere 2021 model, and we are very grateful to have this because there's a lot of people who haven't gotten theirs yet for this harvest. The S780 compared to the S670 is a rather large upgrade in itself. Essentially what happened is we traded the S670 for the S780, and then we decided the next week that actually we'd rather have the S670 as well, so we traded the old 9670 in back for our S670. So that combine was traded, but it never left the farm, and we also owned it again within a week. This S780 is going to be a grain-eating beast, built in Moline, Illinois, the world headquarters of John Deere itself. One of the main reasons that this combine is such an upgrade is because it has the 13.5 liter John Deere PowerTech engine, 473 rated horsepower with a peak of 523. It's coupled with a 330 gallon diesel fuel tank, and I've heard that you will be filling this combine up every 10 to 12 hours. It is a fuel eating machine, but that's the cost to cover acres. This combine has a 400 bushel power folding grain tank. We also added some grain tank extensions. I believe it adds another 50 to 75 bushels, although I'm not quite sure. Another added feature of this combine is the active yield system. You can see those scales down there. Those work to actively adjust the combine's yield monitor. The active yield system in the hopper works to maintain accurate yields as the crop conditions change. To keep up with the added horsepower and throughput of this combine, it has the ability to load at 3.8 bushels per second. That is over a bushel per second more than our S670. This combine is also equipped with the advanced PowerCast tailboard system. It's relatively similar to the one on the S670. This has a few more computerized controls up in the cab to help combat changing crop conditions and weather. With over 16.5 square feet of separating area and 63.5 square feet of cleaning area, this combine is going to be able to cover a lot of acres and harvest a lot of grain. As we all know, John Deere knows how to make some of the nicest cabs in the agriculture industry. No shortage of creature comforts and awesome technology to take advantage of. It comes standard with a Generation 4 4600 Green Star display. We have auto steer and row sense activation. Row sense coupled with our new C&R corn head on that row right there will guide us through the cornfield without having to steer and not relying on GPS. It is completely based on the corn stalks themselves. Unfortunately, this combine was also supposed to come standard with an extended display. We have one in here, but I had to rob it from our 9620R tractor. I am grateful that we had this unnecessary piece of equipment in that tractor because it's much more useful in here than in that 9620R. Another feature that this combine is supposed to have but lacks from the factory is the full Combine Advisor package. The Combine Advisor package is supposed to make use of 2 cameras in the separating and cleaning area to take pictures throughout the day and analyze them to decide what changes in combine settings need to be made to have the highest quality of harvest possible. There are a variety of different targets you can set it for. Another one would be the highest throughput possible. The 2 cameras are another casualty in the supply shortage around the world, along with our extended display. I am very grateful that they went ahead and sent the combine without them. They are an addition that is not necessary, and I'm sure a lot of farmers don't even really use the Combine Advisor package. It's pretty much a standard feature for a lot of dealerships that order these combines. It doesn't have to be put on them. There is an absolutely incredible amount of customization available here on the command center. There's different buttons that can be programmed on the hydrostat, on the armrest, and you can pretty much make these monitors whatever you want. Anything within your wildest dreams. You can change the modules, maybe a smaller yield map, some Green Star stuff over here for auto steer, put your combine settings here, or you could put your yield map here, put your combine settings up here. Or you could have this entire screen be a backup camera the entire time, which my dad could probably use that. Overall though, I'm extremely excited to run this combine this fall. As the grain cart driver for 2 combines in corn, especially with the high yields we're looking at, I'm a little bit nervous because it's going to be like drinking out of a fire hose. Either way, new S780, it's pretty sweet. That's enough of me showcasing this new combine. Back to the regular scheduled programming. The wind has picked up quite a bit outside, so I do apologize for any audio disturbances that creates. Although the wind is terrible for making videos, it is great for drying our corn out. When we have conditions similar to what's going on today, windy, warm, and sunny, we could lose easily over 1 point of moisture on our corn crop. Multiple days like this in a row, and our corn will be down in the low 20s in no time, if not in the teens. The first set of calibrations that we're going to do is coupling this S670 to the 630FD outside. I'm not entirely sure that this is even necessary because I believe they've been hooked up before, but if it does need done, it's better to just do it now as opposed to wait until you're ready to cut beans. Wow, this combine looks old now. Nothing quite like backing a combine out of the barn. Very difficult to see behind yourself here. It looks like we made it so far. I'm not proud of how long it took to get that lined up, but we did get it. Now it is time to do some calibrations. We have a new head on, so we go to header calibration, and we hit combine on level ground, engine running at high idle, which I think is half bunny. I guess that's not high idle. Maybe full bunny? Huh. I would consider that full throttle, not high idle, but whatever Deere wants to call it. Press and hold the feeder house for tilt 4 switch. So we're going to level the header, decrease cutter bar pressure. Wow, this is really a crash course because I haven't done any of this stuff. Oh, wrong button. Oh no. Alright, start again. Pressure, I believe, is this one? Yep, Hydroflex. We're going to crank that thing way down. Perfect. Lower feeder house, head resting on ground. Press and hold raise. Center height sensor. Okay, well, we've already got a problem. 4 renditions later and I'm still getting the same fault, so we'll do the old tried and true method. Cycle the power. Take 2. Try one more time. Raise the head. Nope. Still doesn't work. Header height sensor. My research indicates that it's this one right here. Give it a good blow. Put it back into place. Is anything wrong? Giving it one last shot. If it doesn't go, it's bad. Survey says sensor needs replaced. That's why you do this kind of stuff, folks. So you can get all your expenses out of the way before you start harvesting. I just talked to the parts counter at the John Deere dealership. They don't have that part in their store, but they have one in another one of their branches. So thankfully it will be here today, but we have to wait a few hours. Could have gotten unlucky and it was one of those parts that you can't find anywhere. The real tragedy is we won't know what other sensors are bad until we have that sensor so we can keep completing the calibration process. Hopefully it's nothing else. Got some very precious cargo to go on the 620. Don't want to break it because you can't replace it. Perfect fit. And it color coordinates. Dad and I were a bit confused trying to keep all of our Green Star systems straight because we have multiple screens, multiple receivers. We couldn't figure out why we had an extra display because we traded in a display and a dome with our 9460R. We got the new combine and the 9620. Both of them came with all of the Green Star activations and the processor built into the armrest, and one of them came with a dome. So effectively in the fall, we'll have one extra display, but in the spring we won't have a surplus. This Starfire 6000 dome is about as valuable to a farmer right now as a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Never mind, the Oompa Loompas got it. While we were working on calibrating that 30-foot draper on the S670, Chris and Jeff were busy fueling up the 400-gallon fuel tank and adding all the def to this combine, so it should be ready to go. It's full of dino juice and holy water, ready to pick some corn and cut some soybeans after Marty puts the dome on. I got a pretty good gig here, sit in the combine, enjoying the AC. Marty hooks it up, does all the work, and I get to calibrate it. There's perks to being the nerd here. I wonder if I can figure out how to calibrate this in a timely manner. Pull up the menu, settings, wow. Second one, calibrations. And there's a lot of them. Oh, there's a tab just for header. Now, I have to calibrate a lot of different things on here. Being that the combine is brand new, as well as the draper, we shouldn't have any problems. I'm gonna go ahead and go through this list and calibrate everything that's important. I'm not gonna bore you with it though, you can watch. It only took me about 10 minutes, but I did calibrate 4 out of 6 of these. Most important, obviously, was the header calibration. That kind of controls the up and down, so it knows exactly where the header is and automates the header height control when we're out harvesting in the field. Secondarily, we calibrated our rail position. This is really important to help bring that crop into the cutter bar and throw it onto the draper belt. Then we just did a few different things. We calibrated the tilt of the feeder house and the fore and aft of it. So we got all that done. There's a lot of things on the combine. I'm not exactly sure if I need to mess with any of them. I'm gonna call our dealer right now and see, you know, do I need to calibrate some of these systems? Just got off the phone with a combine expert from Alliance Tractor, our John Deere dealership, and he says that it's critically important that you calibrate every single function on the combine. For example, if we don't calibrate the unloading auger, he said it's going to continuously shear the shear bolts, which would not be good for us. So I guess I'm gonna have to go through all these, figure them out, get them right. Might take me an hour, but I will get it done. To do a majority of the actual machine calibration, I think I have to be ready to harvest. Let's figure out how to unfold this thing. Fully closed. Ready to go. Separator's on. Head is kind of nervous. Calibrating. Essentially what the mass flow vibration calibration does is adjust the crop flow sensor in the combine to the natural vibrations of the machine running. This helps it account for all the shaking during harvesting, and it doesn't mistake that for added crop yield. Well, that's pretty easy. Now to the next one. Unload auger, start calibration, unloading auger engage. Dad and Jeff are replacing the sensor on that draper, and I'm going to put my unloading auger out. So I'm going to let them know not to back up.
Hello?
Hey, I'm putting my unloading auger out, don't back up.
Bye.
Well, that was pleasant. Which one puts it out? There it goes. It may not even have to be out to run it, but it just feels right. Last time the unloading auger was running with it behind the combine, I scooped up 300 bushels of beans that my dad spilled on the ground. Hold the engage button. I gotta hold it. Okay. At least they give you a good detailed analysis of how to do this. Well, that took a lot less time than I was expecting. In case anyone wants to know what a brand new grain tank looks like, be the cleanest this will ever be for the rest of its life. Back in this old beast. Trying to finish calibrating the header height here. Yeah, all right, here goes nothing. Press and hold raise. Another fault. Oh, that's a small victory. It's not the same sensor. The center height sensor raise voltage is less than lower voltage, which would be one of those sensors over there. More sensors to replace. And back to John Deere for another parts run. My first of the day. Dad's second, and quite possibly not our last. Oh, he says it's his third one. John Deere knows how to make a 5-minute calibration into a 3-hour project. We're having a slight issue with the S780 and the 735 draper. We can't get the reel to turn. Alliance Tractor got out here very promptly to look it over. It looks like he can get it to run in reverse, but he can't get it to run forward, which is more important than reverse. Could be a combine problem, could be a draper problem. The easiest way to eliminate any questions would be to hook the other combine up to this, but we're not going to do that right now. Dad and Jeff fixed the sensor. Let's see how far we can get. Lifting the head up very slowly. Man, this 630 FD is the gift that keeps on giving. Replacing the sensor didn't work. Saying that the raise voltage is less than the lower voltage, which is just a matter of how much it responds to the up and down. We'll get it figured out. Time's not on our side though. These 3.9 beans have actually turned quite a bit in the last few days. In the lower area, which I presume had more damage, there's a lot more brown beans. He flipped the hydraulic couplers on the combine side, so maybe this will work. Well, at least we know if it plugs, we can run it out. Simple fix. Right there in that junction box, something's unplugged. It's that easy. But the combine didn't notify that there wasn't voltage or amperage there, which would have been nice to know. At least it was a simple fix, and this combine and draper is not a lemon. I guess that's to be determined because that was only one functionality of this thing. Could have a million other problems. Won't know until we get grain in it. With all the supply chain shortages and manufacturing problems and delays, really wouldn't surprise me if some of these new machines didn't have some gremlins. I wish we had some earlier crops to harvest so we could get those out of the way, but we'll figure out when we get into the thick of it. Roughly 5 hours after we started this project, we can now move on to the corn head for calibration. It's always convenient when you have multiple problems to be worked on at once and you have a mechanic here. He's checking out that draper to see what's wrong with it. This little 8-row head looks so small compared to this big 780. Hopefully we have good enough corn to keep the combine full. I'm not going to pick this corn head up without a spotter because our stock stumpers are so close to our stands. I don't want to bin these. These are factory installed and I don't believe they're cheap to replace. Always helps have an extra set of eyes. It doesn't exactly hook up the same way that a draper does. These front prongs actually go on the other side of the frame and lift up, whereas on the draper there's a slot in there for it to pick up. My spotter is here. You're doing a good job, Dad. Keep it up. Down and up and down and left and right and tilt and shift and blah 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 to make sure it does a good job. As opposed to having to adjust the reel like the draper, on the corn heads you have to calibrate the deck plates, which are the two plates underneath the gathering chains that catch the ears as the stalks get ripped through. So it's probably pretty important that you have that to standard. Test run. Everything looks to be in place. The nice thing is there's only one PTO now as opposed to two. One used to be on this side as well. So we're good to go. Just learned the hard way that if you get out of the seat of the combine before the separators completely stop turning, it honks at you. That made me fall off the ladder. The mechanic had some unfortunate news for us. It was not an electronic issue, but the actual header height sensing rock shaft on the bottom is bent. So we're trying to bend it back. He thinks maybe the head fell off of the head card at some point in time when someone was unloading it. Don't know who did it, but it wasn't me. Of course, safety first when you work under the head. Got the emergency stop down. You gonna sledgehammer it? No. That shaft is supposed to be straight. That's gonna be a project for tomorrow. We're gonna go unhook this corn head over there. I'm gonna put the stands down a little bit. Very nice for being able to unhook it without a trailer having these. We can finally set this corn head on the ground. Hopefully we don't see it again till corn harvest. Put it nice and out of the way by our lime pile. Start to put the top down. I don't know if this is the right spot, but the boss is not here to tell me any different. And as they say, when the cat is away, the mice will play. Flawless. It's generally not recommended to back up with a combine, even with a camera. We're putting the 780 in first because it's pretty much ready to go. That 630FD needs some TLC tomorrow. There's no reason to unhook the head, so we can actually back it in the barn with the head on. We'll just tuck this in the back corner. The 780's in the barn for the first time, next to its new pal, the 9620R. Now we're going to back the 670 in here with the draper on. Or maybe pull it in, I'm wrong. There's a chance of severe storms tonight, so we thought it'd be a good idea to park these inside. That way we don't want any of those dome thieves coming around. I guess the drapers get special treatment. They are a little bit more expensive than the corn heads. All right, everyone, that concludes our work for the day. With the help of John Deere, we sure know how to make an hour project into a 10-hour project. It was a long day. We didn't get much crossed off our list, but that's the reason we get started early on these preparations. Harvest is very close. I'm extremely excited. I'm also still working on merch, guys, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. I appreciate you all tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Peace!